We spend our younger years learning how to care for others. As we get older, the greatest lesson becomes learning how to care for ourselves. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever reheated a plate of leftovers thinking it was a quick and easy meal? Most of us have. But here's the surprising truth. Some of the foods we reheat out of habit could be quietly working against our health, especially after the age of 60. Doctors and nutrition researchers call it a silent risk. Certain everyday foods, when reheated, can lose their nutrients, change their structure, or even release compounds that increase inflammation, disturb digestion, or affect our balance and memory. And the effects aren't always immediate. They build up over time, meal by meal. But here's the good news. Some foods actually become better, more healing, when they're gently reheated. They support energy, improve digestion, and help protect the heart, the brain, and the joints. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 foods you should never reheat and 5 that you absolutely should. And if you stay with me to the end, I'll reveal one everyday food that almost everyone thinks is safe, but may be quietly doing more harm than good the second time around. So take a breath, settle in, and let's walk through this together, because every food we reheat is a small message to our body. And today, we choose wisdom. 5 foods seniors should reheat. Food 1. Oatmeal. A warm hug for your gut. There's something simple and soothing about a warm bowl of oatmeal. For many of us, it brings back memories of calm mornings and quiet kitchens. But here's something most people don't realize. Reheated oatmeal doesn't lose its value. It actually becomes more helpful for the body. When oats are cooked, cooled, and then gently reheated, a change happens at the microscopic level. The starches in the oats begin to form what's called resistant starch. This kind of starch acts like a slow-burning fuel. It moves through your digestive system more gently, feeding the good bacteria in your gut and helping reduce inflammation. And that's not all. Reheated oatmeal provides a more stable form of energy. It won't spike your blood sugar like processed cereals do. Instead, it releases energy slowly and steadily, helping you stay full longer and avoid the mid-morning crash. For older adults, this is key. Stable blood sugar supports better focus, steadier mood, and less physical fatigue. Oatmeal also contains beta-glucan, a special type of fiber that supports heart health by lowering bad cholesterol. And when you warm it again the next day, the comfort doubles, not just for your body, but for your mind as well. Add a little cinnamon, a few walnuts, or some blueberries, and you've got a bowl full of antioxidants, fiber, and flavor. Reheating oatmeal is more than just a time saver. It's an act of self-respect, a way to tell your body, you still deserve something warm, steady, and kind. Food 2. Vegetable soup, immune support in a spoon. There's something deeply healing about soup. Maybe it's the warmth or the way it brings people together. But did you know that reheating homemade vegetable soup can actually increase its nutritional power? When you simmer vegetables like carrots, celery, onions, and leafy greens, they begin to break down. And when you let that soup sit overnight, something magical happens. The nutrients continue to blend and concentrate. When you reheat the soup the next day, the broth becomes richer in antioxidants and plant compounds your body can absorb more easily. That's especially good news for your immune system. A warm bowl of reheated soup can help reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and hydrate your body. 3 things that become even more important with age. And there's a reason soup feels comforting when your energy is low or your joints are stiff. It's gentle on the stomach, easy to digest, and full of healing herbs if you choose to add things like garlic, turmeric, or parsley. For older adults who struggle with appetite, soup is one of the easiest ways to get nutrients in without pressure. And just as importantly, it nourishes your emotions. It reminds you of family, safety, and the care that's sometimes hard to find in a fast-moving world. So the next time you make a big pot of soup, don't hesitate to reheat it. In fact, it might be even better the second time around. Food. 3. Lentil stew. Strength in every spoonful. Lentils might not be flashy, but they are quietly powerful, especially when turned into a warm, hearty stew. For older adults, lentil stew is more than just a plant-based option. It's a complete source of protein, fiber, and essential minerals like iron and potassium. But here's the beautiful part. When lentil stew is reheated, its benefits don't fade. They grow. As the stew sits, the flavors deepen. The nutrients from the lentils and vegetables blend more fully. When you warm it again, you're unlocking more of what your body needs. Nourishment that's easy to digest, energy that lasts, and comfort that reaches deeper than the stomach. Lentils are also rich in folate and iron, which help your body produce healthy red blood cells. That's critical for keeping your energy up and preventing fatigue, especially for seniors who may be more prone to anemia. And let's not forget the broth. A warm lentil stew provides hydration, eases joint stiffness, and gives the gut something gentle to work with. So when you reheat a bowl of lentil stew, you're not just saving leftovers. You're giving yourself another serving of strength, stability, and care. Food whore. Brown rice. Stability in every grain. Brown rice might seem plain, but it's one of the most reliable, body-friendly foods you can eat, especially after the age of 60. Unlike white rice, brown rice keeps its outer layers, the bran and germ, which are packed with fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, and other minerals the aging body craves. And here's the fascinating part. When brown rice is cooked, cooled, and then reheated, it develops more resistant starch just like oatmeal. That means it digests more slowly, supports better blood sugar control, and helps you feel full longer. Reheated brown rice also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, helping with regularity, immune support, and even mood stability. Yes, your gut health affects your mind too. Magnesium in brown rice is especially helpful for seniors. It helps relax muscles, calm nerves, and support better sleep, something many older adults struggle with. So the next time you make brown rice, don't toss the leftovers. Gently reheat them with a little water or olive oil. Add soft vegetables or beans for extra nutrition. It's more than just a side dish. It's a foundation for a steady, well-fueled day. Food. 5. Sweet potatoes. Comfort that truly heals. Sweet potatoes are one of nature's most generous foods, rich in color, full of flavor, and packed with nutrients that support aging well. They're a perfect addition to any senior's kitchen. And yes, sweet potatoes hold up beautifully when reheated. They're loaded with beta-carotene, which your body turns into vitamin A, a key nutrient for healthy eyes and a strong immune system. Their natural sweetness comes from complex carbs that don't spike your blood sugar, making them a smart choice for people managing diabetes or blood pressure. They also contain fiber that supports digestion and helps ease constipation, a common issue as we age. Best of all, sweet potatoes are soft, easy to chew, and deeply satisfying. Whether you reheat them as mashed potatoes, roasted chunks, or part of a warm salad, they retain their healing power and their comforting presence. Emotionally, sweet potatoes feel like home. They remind us of family meals, holiday tables, and cozy afternoons. They don't just feed the body, they calm the heart. So go ahead, reheat that leftover sweet potato. Your body will thank you, and so will your spirit. 5 foods seniors should never reheat. Food. 1. Eggs. When nourishment turns harmful, eggs have long been considered one of the most complete and nourishing foods. They're rich in high-quality protein, healthy fats, vitamin D for bones, and choline, which is essential for memory and brain function. For older adults, eggs can be a gentle, powerful way to start the day. But the benefits of eggs come with one important rule: they must be eaten fresh. Once eggs are cooked and then stored, their structure begins to change. The proteins, which were once light and easy to digest, begin to bind more tightly. And when you reheat them, especially in a microwave or at high temperatures, those proteins toughen and become harder for the body to break down. For seniors with slower digestion, this can lead to bloating, discomfort, and a sense of heaviness that lingers for hours. But digestion isn't the only concern. When eggs are scrambled, fried, or cooked with oils or butter, reheating them causes the fats and cholesterol to oxidize. Oxidized cholesterol is a dangerous compound linked to increased inflammation and damage to the arteries. For people over 60 who are already managing blood pressure, heart disease, or high cholesterol, this is no small matter. The damage doesn't usually happen in a single meal, but it builds over time, slowly weakening circulation, increasing arterial stiffness, and possibly even clouding memory or focus. You might feel a little more tired after breakfast and not know why. Or notice your energy dipping mid-morning without any clear cause. What's worse, many people reheat eggs in plastic containers, unaware that high heat can release harmful chemicals like BPA into their food, a risk that further affects hormone balance and cardiovascular health. Here's the truth. What begins as a convenient second serving can quietly wear down your body's resilience. And when you're in your 60s or 70s, every bit of strength, clarity, and comfort matters more than ever. So enjoy your eggs, but do it fresh, with care. Skip the leftovers. Your digestion, your heart, and your mind will be better for it. Comment: fresh only if you believe eggs deserve a fresh start every time. Food. 2. White potatoes. The comfort that betrays. White potatoes have been a part of American life for centuries. Mashed, roasted, baked, or fried. They show up at family gatherings, holiday dinners, and quiet weekday meals. They're soft, familiar, and deeply tied to comfort. But for seniors, especially those managing blood sugar, inflammation, or circulation issues, white potatoes carry a hidden risk. And that risk becomes even more dangerous when they're reheated. Here's why. White potatoes are naturally high on the glycemic index. That means they break down quickly into sugar in your bloodstream. When they're cooked, cooled, and then reheated, their starch structure changes again, often becoming more rapidly digestible, which leads to sharper spikes in blood sugar. And these spikes can be serious. For older adults, your body's ability to manage insulin declines over time. So what might feel like a harmless comfort meal can trigger a drop in energy, cause numbness as in the hands or feet, and slowly damage nerves, arteries, and even brain cells. This kind of inflammation is connected to a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. But there's more. Many seniors reheat mashed potatoes or potato casseroles that contain cream, cheese, or butter. When these fats are reheated, especially in the microwave, they break down and release compounds that burden the liver and promote inflammation. Even worse, many of these reheated dishes are stored or warmed in plastic containers, which under heat can release harmful chemicals like bisphenol A and phthalates into the food. These chemicals interfere with hormones, disrupt digestion, and may weaken the immune system over time. And the nutritional trade-off? Not worth it. White potatoes, while filling, offer very few protective nutrients compared to colorful vegetables like sweet potatoes or squash. They're mostly starch without the antioxidants or fiber your body needs to fight aging and stay strong. So, while a hot plate of potatoes may feel comforting, reheating them is a habit that can quietly take more than it gives. Choose instead to eat them freshly cooked and in moderation. Or better yet, Switch to sweet potatoes. They offer comfort but with healing attached. Comment, goodbye spuds if you're ready to trade comfort for care. 3. Spinach, the green that turns against you. Spinach is one of the most celebrated leafy greens out there. It's packed with iron, folate, calcium, and antioxidants, all essential nutrients that support aging bones, brain function, and immune health. But despite its many benefits, spinach comes with a quiet warning. It should never be reheated. Here's the reason. Spinach naturally contains nitrates. When it's cooked for the first time, those nitrates are stable. But once cooked spinach is stored and then reheated, the nitrates begin to convert into nitrites. And that's where the problem begins. Nitrites can interfere with your body's ability to carry oxygen. In small amounts, they may not cause immediate symptoms. But for seniors, especially those with heart conditions, lung issues, or poor circulation, this interference can result in fatigue, lightheadedness, and increased stress on the cardiovascular system. And there's more. Spinach is also high in oxalates, compounds that can crystallize in the body and contribute to kidney stones or joint pain. When spinach is reheated, especially at high heat, the structure of oxalates may change in ways that make them more irritating to the kidneys and bladder, systems that naturally lose strength with age. Vitamin C, one of spinach's most valuable nutrients, is also destroyed by reheating. So the second time around, the dish may look the same, but it's nutritionally weaker and chemically more risky. What's the safest way to enjoy spinach? Use it fresh. Add it raw into warm soups just before serving. Toss it into salads or saute it lightly and eat it immediately. These methods preserve the nutrients while avoiding the harmful nitrite formation. Spinach has earned its place in a healthy kitchen, but only when handled with care. Comment, fresh greens if you're keeping your spinach safe and smart. Food. 4. Cooked mushrooms, the silent spoiler. Mushrooms are often seen as a gentle, earthy food, something you can toss into an omelet, a stir fry, or a warm bowl of soup. For many older adults, mushrooms feel like a healthy, light addition to the plate. And when they're fresh and properly cooked, they truly are. But there's one critical rule that isn't widely known. Cooked mushrooms should never be reheated. Here's why. Mushrooms are made up of complex proteins and amino acids. When they're cooked the first time, those proteins break down in a way that makes them easier to digest. But once the mushrooms cool and are stored, their structure begins to shift again. When you reheat them, especially in a microwave or over high heat, those same proteins are broken down again, but this time they change into compounds that are far harder for your digestive system to process. For younger people, this might only cause a bit of discomfort or gas, but for seniors who often have lower stomach acid levels and a more sensitive gut lining, it can lead to bloating, indigestion, and intestinal stress that lingers long after the meal is over. And that's just the beginning. One of the more serious dangers lies in improper storage. If mushrooms are cooked in oil or butter, as they often are, and then left out at room temperature too long before being refrigerated, they become a perfect environment for harmful bacteria, especially Clostridium botulinum and Listeria. These bacteria are silent at first. You may not see or smell anything wrong, but they can begin to multiply quietly, and once reheated, they don't always die off, particularly if the food isn't reheated to a high enough internal temperature. In seniors, even a small amount of bacterial contamination can lead to symptoms like nausea, weakness, fatigue, or in more serious cases, neurological symptoms such as dizziness and blurred vision. On top of this, the antioxidants in mushrooms, one of their main health benefits, begin to break down significantly upon reheating. So not only do you increase your risk of digestive distress or foodborne illness, but you also lose much of the reason you were eating mushrooms in the first place. And finally, many mushroom-based dishes, like sauteed mushrooms or creamy mushroom sauces, are stored and reheated in plastic containers. At high temperatures, plastic can leach harmful chemicals like bisphenol A into the food, adding one more layer of toxicity to an already risky choice. The safer choice? Enjoy mushrooms freshly cooked. If you have leftovers, consider eating them cold the next day in a salad without reheating. Or, better yet, cook only what you'll eat in one meal. Mushrooms have a beautiful role in health, but only when they're treated with the respect they require. Comment: fresh only if you'll keep mushrooms as a one time treat, not a reheated risk. Food 5. Seafood, a delicate danger. Seafood, whether it's salmon, shrimp, scallops, or whitefish, is widely celebrated for its powerful health benefits. Rich in high-quality protein, low in saturated fat, and full of omega-3 fatty acids that support heart and brain health, it's a top recommendation for older adults aiming to eat well and age gracefully. But seafood is also one of the most delicate and perishable foods you can eat. And once it's cooked, cooled, and stored, reheating it becomes a risk, not a reward. Let's start with the science. Seafood is rich in polyunsaturated fats, the kind of fats that are usually good for your heart. But when those fats are reheated, especially in a microwave or pan at high heat, they can oxidize. This means they break down into harmful compounds called free radicals, which promote inflammation in the body. And inflammation, as we now know, is linked to nearly every age-related condition, from arthritis and heart disease to memory decline. So while you may be thinking you're doing something healthy by reheating last night's salmon, you could actually be introducing toxins that age your body faster instead of protecting it. And then comes the issue of food safety. Seafood spoils quickly, even in the fridge. If not cooled and stored immediately after cooking, it becomes highly susceptible to bacterial overgrowth. Bacteria such as Vibrio, Salmonella, and Listeria can grow silently in cooked seafood that's been left out too long or not stored at the proper temperature. And when you reheat it, especially in a microwave that may not heat evenly, these bacteria may not be fully destroyed. For older adults whose immune systems are naturally less robust, this can lead to foodborne illness more easily than for younger people. Symptoms may include stomach cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, or even fever. In serious cases, especially in those with chronic conditions, food poisoning from seafood can result in hospitalization. Another hidden issue is smell. Reheated seafood often gives off a strong odor, one that may indicate the presence of chemical breakdown in the fats. That smell isn't just unpleasant, it's a warning. Instead of risking all this, consider enjoying seafood fresh and hot right after cooking. If you must store leftovers, skip the microwave. Use chilled seafood in cold dishes the next day, like a salad, seafood spread, or cold grain bowl, so you preserve the nutrients without reintroducing heat. Seafood is a gift to your body, but only when handled properly. Comment: fresh catch. If your seafood always gets eaten fresh, never reheated. Reheating with wisdom. As we grow older, the smallest choices often become the most powerful. Not the dramatic diets, not the expensive supplements, but the quiet, everyday decisions, like how we reheat our food, what we keep, what we let go, what we choose to offer our bodies after a lifetime of carrying us through. The truth is, every time we warm up a meal, we're sending a message to ourselves. Are we still rushing, still reaching for convenience, or are we choosing to care? Reheating the right foods like oatmeal, soups, lentils, brown rice, and sweet potatoes can gently support your heart, your digestion, your strength. These meals don't just fill the stomach, they help protect the very systems that keep you independent, balanced, and vibrant. But when we reheat the wrong foods, eggs, white potatoes, spinach, mushrooms, or seafood, we may be quietly working against ourselves, against our energy, our peace, our clarity. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. It's about honoring the wisdom you've earned and the health you still deserve. So I invite you to ask yourself, the next time you stand in front of your fridge, is this food just easy or is it truly loving? Because your body is still listening and it's never too late to speak kindly to it, make them meal by meal. If today's video helped you rethink your kitchen habits, I'd love to hear from you. Comment the words Smart Eats if you're ready to choose food that loves you back. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Elders Insight, where we bring real respectful guidance for strong, wise living after 60. Until next time, stay warm, stay curious, and as always, stay wise.